You know, I feel like we need the death march or something here. The Force Awakens starting for many tomorrow night. Whether you're a fan or not, you must realize by now what a big deal this movie is. We've got a couple excited, you got a stormtrooper and a sand trooper with us this afternoon. Okay, tell me how excited you are for the Star Wars movie.
Oh, we're very excited. We've particularly been waiting 32 years since the end of the Return of the Jedi to find out what happens to our heroes.
And who would be your hero, by the way?
Well, let him answer.
Darth Vader, of course.
Yes.
He's not in this one, so we're interested in Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Okay, now I just asked a question to the people here in our studio. Who has seen the original version? And you both raised your hands.
Yes, I was 6 years old in 1977. Remember seeing it opening weekend.
Well, so what do you expect out of the Star Wars Force Awakens?
I expect the same kind of feelings from A New Hope. They're trying to go back to the roots, trying to make it romantic and fun and adventuresome.
Okay, and something else I have to ask you. When you go to see the movie, are you going to wear your get-up here?
Yes, we are. As a matter of fact, we're going to be in all of the Megaplex theaters along the Wasatch Front.
There you go. That's where you can see them. Thank you guys so much for coming in this afternoon. Our contributor, Jimmy Martin from Salt Lake Comic-Con, one of just 10 movie critics who got to talk with the cast ahead of this premiere. Let's hear what they had to say.
Is it harder for you to, or more challenging to reboot one of the geekiest franchises of all time, or continue the lore of one of the geekiest franchises of all time?
It was a challenge that was exciting and fun to take on, in part because I was working with some incredible people, such as Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back
Sure.
and Return of the Jedi, and working with him and talking about what we and he believed would have happened to the state of things was sort of thrilling, because this is something that he obviously knew quite a bit about.
Yeah.
He has lived with it for quite a while, and so it was fun finding the continuum with him. But to come up with characters that we were interested in exploring, in discovering, and actually having them discover each other and this universe they found themselves in, was, I would say, the most exciting part.
Yeah. What attracts you initially to a project?
The story, the character. Is there something there that I haven't done before? Is there something that I can explore that really ignites my imagination? And then the director. Is that somebody that I want to be in the trenches with?
Sure.
and trust completely, which is a very important part.
You got to work with one of the greatest motion cap actors, Andy Serkis. What was it like working with him?
Andy is such a generous artist, and I was really honored to be in a film with him and to have him to kind of mentor me into this world of motion capture. He gave me some solid advice when I began, and the advice was, go about creating this character as you would any other character. It's actually, motion capture is just an extra challenge, because you have to, you're not in hair, you're not in makeup, and you're not in costume. You have to imagine those things. But other than that, the work is the same, and that was very grounding.
I actually saw you a few years ago at Hall H in San Diego Comic-Con for Attack the Block.
Oh, wow.
And I remember, I mean, for years I would say he looked so humbled and so grateful to be there. And then earlier this year I saw you again in Hall H. How was those experiences different based on those franchises?
Oh, I mean, from Attack the Block in Hall H to Star Wars in Hall H is a big difference. I mean, to be in the movie and to be a lead character in a franchise that sparked Comic-Con is amazing. It's obviously a different experience.
Sure.
But one thing that has surprised me, despite me being involved in this Star Wars experience, people are still raving about Attack the Block, and that for me has made me go, oh, okay, I can still hold on to the baby that started it all, and then, you know, say hello to the father that's about to lead me into a new world.
Is it a mind trip walking into almost every store around the world and seeing yourself?
But it's weird, because I seem to have missed everything. Like,
Really?
people keep messaging me stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
I've walked into like a Bed Bath & Beyond, and like there's
Really?
There you are, and I'm like,
Nice.
everywhere, absolutely
Nice.
everywhere. Awesome. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
High five live to you, one of 10 movie critics.
Right.
Are you kidding me? What was it like to talk to them?
It was, honestly, to be honest, difficult, because at the time we had done the interviews, I hadn't seen the movie, and they couldn't talk about the movies. So we're like, so what are we going to talk about? So we just did, fun questions about what was, your favorite movie scenes in the original trilogy and everything you just saw there. I mean, it was a blast, an absolute blast.
You're going to come back in a little while, and we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about the movie. But first, I want to get the scoop on Salt Lake Comic-Con, because that is coming up not too far away. What's the scoop on that?
They just announced Jason Isaac. Now, if you don't know Jason Isaac, he is he's on Harry Potter. He's Lucius Malfoy. So he's coming. They just announced maybe a week or so ago, Gillian Anderson from The X-Files is coming. So get your tickets at saltlakecomiccon.com. And it'll be March 24th to the 26th.
And Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead.
He better show up this time.
I'm so excited for that. Okay, we're going to send it now over to Grant Wayman and get a look at our forecast for this afternoon. We're going to talk with Jimmy in a little while.
Can't wait for Star Wars. It's a couple of days. We're all going to go see it. It's going to be fun. All right, a lot of clouds out there right now, Lori.
This is The Browser, Utah's social show.
Welcome to the Browser 5.0 on this Wednesday afternoon. I traded in Andrew Wittenberg for these two. I think they'll do just fine because they don't talk as much. We've got the latest tech news for you that you need to know. Also, it's a special Star Wars edition of the show today. A little later, we'll hear from some of the cast and get one of the first reviews. But first, we kick things off with the buzz. Of course, it is easily the biggest movie of the year, and surprisingly enough, that there is already Oscar buzz surrounding Star Wars: The Force Awakens. We have friends here. Our friend Jimmy from Salt Lake Comic-Con is with us. He's one of 10 critics from around the country that was invited to interview the stars, and we can't wait to hear what they had to say. Take a look.
What is the question that is most asked of you that you cannot answer yet?
Who are my parents? My mum's like, I'm your mum.
They ask me what is Maz's personality.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there one question that you keep getting asked by people that you just can't answer?
There are a lot that I just can't answer.
Yeah.
But I understand the enthusiasm of the fans of this of these films, and I'm grateful for it. But who shot first, Han or Greedo, is
It's totally Han.
I don't care.
No? Oh.
No.
Are you a Jedi? Are you Mace Windu's Mace Windu's son?
There you go.
Loads of questions.
All of them. All of the questions are not answerable questions that have anything to do with what happens in the movie. But just a week left.
Yeah.
All will be revealed.
Disney has companies like Marvel and Pixar that are notorious for sticking Easter eggs into the film. Can you estimate about how many Easter eggs you probably slipped in there? And can I ask if Wilbur Hood would show up?
No. No.
No ice cream machines.
None of that. But I will say that that there will be there are a few things that if you look closely, you will find in the movie. And I can't tell you that there are 6 Easter eggs that must be found, but there are a few things that we did knowing that on if there are repeated viewings that they will be discovered.
Excellent. I love how the armor, it's not genderfied. It's just armor. I think that's great. Were you involved in any of that process of making it the way that it is?
I wish I could say that I was, but I'm afraid that is down to the genius of Michael Kaplan, JJ and Kathleen Kennedy.
Sure.
And everyone involved in that creative process. But I was so heartened when I saw the costume, when I saw that that was the case, because it indicated to me a progression.
Yep.
And that Star Wars is something that we've all loved so much. And the marriage of that with truly progressive and modern choices is so exciting and heartening to me.
That's funny. This role will no doubt obviously open doors for you. Is there another filmmaker you want to work with, or a type of genre film or role that you'd want to try out?
I just wrapped on a movie called The Circle with James Ponsoldt, and he's someone I wanted to work with for a long time. And Tom Hanks is in the movie, and Emma Watson's in the movie, and it's a really cool film. And it's good to know that Star Wars and obviously the connections that I've made spending so much time out here in LA has led to solid projects and good films.
Since your answer today mostly is I can't talk about that, does having to keep a secret like this, does it excite you or is it more annoying?
It's so exciting. It's so much fun. I feel so good.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Well, Jimmy joins us now, and first, no spoilers here, so we're not going to spoil the movie, but you have got to tell us what you thought.
I have seen it now, and no spoilers, because anybody who's going to spoil this movie before we all have a chance to go see it and have our own geek smiles is just not a good person and not a good geek. It's fantastic. It is absolutely amazing. J.J. Abrams has captured the original feeling of the original trilogy. I love Star Wars. I grew up on it. The first movie I ever saw in theaters was Return of the Jedi. I wasn't a fan of the prequel, so I kind of walked in here, you know, a little defensive, you know, but he nailed it. I mean, John Williams' score booming out of the screen, Kylo Ren, I mean, I think Kylo Ren is almost as good as if not as parallel to Darth Vader as a villain. And there's so much things going in my head, I'm like, I can't say it, I can't say it, I can't say it. But it is phenomenal. I teared up. I jumped out of my chair. I cheered, arms in the air, freaking out. It was one of the best experiences I've had in a movie theater in a long time.
So many of us are attached to those iconic, you know, characters: the Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker. So, does this introduce you to a new cast of characters that are just as iconic?
They will be. Yeah, I think what I love about it with Daisy Ridley as playing Rey is that they do not have the damsel in distress kind of thing. She is a very strong female character, and they kind of play with that too. Like John Boyega, like there's some parts where he keeps trying to like grab her hand and say let's go, and she's like, why are you grabbing my hand? I'm good. Like, you know, I can do this on my own. So they kind of play with that, and then but just like the visual effects. You talk about Oscars. If this isn't nominated for best visual effects, then there's something wrong with the world. But it is an experience that I wish everyone would go see in the theaters as soon as possible, because I'm actually kind of tired of having Avatar at the top of the top movie box office of all times. I want it to be I want Star Wars to be it. But no, I mean, and what's great about these new characters is that you do have your Han Solo. I mean, the moment that, I mean, we kind of saw in the trailer, so it's not spoiling it. Don't shoot me, fellas. No spoilers. The scene where he comes in and says, "We're home." Well, that's when we first see him. And like, even though I've seen that 1,000 times in the trailer, I still got like weepy.
Chills.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. And I just have to ask you, what was it like to talk to Harrison Ford? I mean, what an amazing actor. Not just in Star Wars, but everything he's done.
It's probably one of the greatest experiences of my career so far. I mean, you're sitting there and I'm talking to him, trying to be composed, and I'm saying, like, you know, was there any hesitation to come back? And he's like, no, it's a great script. And in my mind, I'm like, it's Han Solo and Indiana Jones and Rick Decker and, you know, just everybody. And I'm like, he's one of the greatest actors of all time. He's a true legend. So one of the greatest experiences.
Okay, final question. How many times do you think you will see this movie, at least in theaters?
In theaters? I've already got tickets again for Thursday night, and then I'm sure I'll go see it again the next weekend and whatnot. And so but I kind of want to take up the seats, because as long as I'm taking up seats, other people can't see it. I want everybody to go see it.
Right, because you have seen it. Does anyone want to hit him over the head with their gun? I'm just kidding. We want to thank to Jimmy, as well as the 501st Legion, the Alpine Garrison. These guys are great. They do a lot of great work out there in the community. So we want to thank you guys, too, for being here as well, even though you're on the dark side. We'll be right back.